Welcome back again, everyone. This particular class lecture we're going to be talking about is going to be dealing with and pertaining to this new trend that's going around. And I wanted to speak on it, and doesn't necessarily pertain specifically to dealing with narcissists, but it is something that's ever growing that narcissists are able to put in their arsenal of things that they can use to lure new unsuspecting targets into the picture, right? And one of these things I've been becoming more aware of is this polyamorous relationship type of thing going on. And I didn't know it was so big. I started hearing a lot more and more about it. And I guess it's when, it's not to be mistaken with polygamy, but polyamorous, and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone that's into it or into the life or the lifestyle of it. But it is when people agree to partner up, basically, to be in sexual engagements, entanglements, whatever you want to call it. They agree to basically make the agreement between the people who are in that circle. That's the hub. Okay. They can go and sleep with whoever they want to outside of that, but they always come back to the hub. They always come back to base. And it, in many ways, to me, in my opinion, it's just another way for people who want to avoid the responsibility of being committed to one person and breaking traditional tendencies that go along with the relationship. This is one of those components where if you have someone who is, let's say, of a narcissistic nature or a narcissist, it's easy to lure in people who want to become a part of that lifestyle, because more people are apt to run towards things that promote freedom, that promote the least amount of restriction, right? You can do as you will, do whatever you want. I don't mind if you go sleep with this one and come back and, this is what we're about. And no one else is going to accept this type of lifestyle from you. So if you want to be this, come over here. And, they start naming out the perks. I mean, it lasts longer. It takes a lot of, pressure off of the relationship and so forth and so on. And, that's sounds good. It sounds good. And those who may have become tired of going through the same thing and having failures in the traditional standpoint of going after and pursuing a normal relationship may be apt to entertain this. And they will say, okay, let's try the poly, because I can protect myself. I don't have to be hurt because I already know what it is. This can be just as dangerous, because in many ways, these end up being small secular type of cults. Right? They become small cults. And the people who buy into this, because these are all, if you think about it, it's all based off of sex. Being able to sleep with someone else if you want to sleep with someone else. All of this stuff is centered around sex. And when you have something that is centered around sex, or that puts such an emphasis on sex, you always get the dark side of that. You get the perversion of that. It draws in a lot of sexual deviants, sexual perverts. This is what it draws in. It's going to attract those type of things. And I can say this for a lot of things that are unrestrictive, that don't have any boundaries, that don't have any guidelines or any rules, any regulations, any laws. It's going to bring in not the best of characters. It's going to bring in a lot of shady type of individuals who, if you think about it, if they don't care about playing by the rules or anything, there's not going to be any integrity. There's not going to be any, moral compass with the type of individuals that are going to be coming into these type of situations. You're asking for it. You're asking for some sort of destruction, some sort of something that's going to end up blowing up in your face later. Now, getting into how these individuals go about doing this, which I'm going to cover more of that at the university, at asscdirect University. If you haven't enrolled or signed up there, I'll leave the link in the description box. But for those of you who are at the university, the continuum of this lecture will be there. But this is beginning to be quite the norm in many aspects. I hear a lot of clients, and unfortunately, guys, I know it happens to you too, but the majority of the clients that I hear this happening to, or have heard of this, or have had this try to be sprung on them, was from females, where it's usually a guy who's talked one female into it, and they use her to go and do the recruiting of other women into this polyamorous lifestyle. Okay. And there's no, and within these, there's no specific objective. They talk it like it's going to be something that's going to help them, take the pressures of life and existing by yourself, and take the pressures of being alone and not having someone, and all of this. It's a bunch of BS. Again, these are sexual deviants who have found another way to romanticize the idea of having multiple lovers and it being okay. But even in these situations, they always blow up. Even when there's, mutual agreements in them, they always blow up. And yes, you better believe that many narcissists are attracted to these type of arrangements. Many of these type of organizations and meetups for these polyamorous couples are led probably more than likely by narcissists. They're springing up all over the place. I've heard women, they meet a guy and, he tells them that, that he has a friend, and that's, his best friend, but his best friend is in this, they start breaking down the situation of, them being in this polyamorous situation, and he tries to convince her to join them. And it could be the other way. It could be a woman that meets a guy that tries to convince a guy to join in their shenanigans with this polyamorous stuff, but people will say, well, I don't see the harm in it. If everyone's agreeing, why not? Okay. And we'll get into that in the university. I'll break down the specific dangers that happen within these circles. Okay. Just something to think about. And this is popping up everywhere, everyone. So you could be getting yourself involved with someone who's a part of one of these circles where, you know, the other person is not going to be jealous or say anything, even if they see you out, because that's the agreement, right? They can be whoever they want as long as they come back to the circle. Believe it or not, like I said, this is becoming pretty big. They have conventions for this type of stuff. So, I'm going to leave this here. And for those of you at the university, we'll pick up and we'll go into the methods that they use and the tactics that they use to lure people into these polyamorous cult-like situations. So I'll leave off here. We'll pick up, and that will be we'll pick up 7:00 in the lecture hall, and we'll continue with this. But make sure you hit the like button, everyone. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you want a one-on-one consultation, the link is in the description box. And I'll see and talk to many of you then. All right. If you're into cooking, make sure you go over to my Big Chefin' YouTube channel. Check out we're going in the kitchens. We're showing different recipes. We're cooking it up, chefing it up. If you're into cooking, definitely go follow, subscribe over there. Till next time, have a good one.